Okay, so it's been a few days since we had the initial Harden and Dame stuff, and I think this will be the last time that I do a video dedicated to these hypotheticals until one of the moves actually happen, you know? There's also been some Siakam stuff that I want to talk about too. We start with Dame, and it seems that him and his agents are just going the super aggro route of I only want to go to the Heat. If anybody else trades for me, I'm going to be unhappy and all that stuff. And then, you know, with the Heat specifically, it seems that the popular rumor now is, will a third team want Tyler Hero so then they can take him on and they can send more assets to the Blazers in a Dame trade, and then the Heat can give the Blazers everything they have to offer, which is mostly just Jaquez, Jovic, and I think they can get to 3 picks if they mess around with the protection on the OKC pick or whatever. And no, Jaquez can't be traded for like a month or whatever it is, and I know in his first Summer League game he looked good, and his big thing coming out of college is that he's a big, strong wing who can attack mismatches and get in the post, and he's very crafty with footwork and fakes and turnaround jumpers in the paint and stuff. But also, he's been making some threes in Summer League so far, and Jovic is a skilled big. I imagine Miami would fight to keep one of those guys. I think the Blazers would be like, no, please give us both, and then I don't know what happens after that. This would, of course, require them and the Heat to get into real talks about it, and as of right now, based on the reporting, it seems like the Blazers are more so like, hey, everybody give us your offer, we'll go from there. And obviously, they'd have to throw in more money to make the financial stuff work. It's not an awesome return for Dame, unless some other team would just like really, really want Tyler Hero to the point of like, wait a minute, what are they offering? And so, for me, honestly, the thing that I'm wondering is like, how much of this is just BS on Dame's part? Like, do we really think that Damian Lillard would get traded to a team that he doesn't have on his list, which is just a one-team list right now, and then like wouldn't be chill about it? Like, Damian Lillard has been the model of consistency and team culture and all that stuff for his entire career. I understand what everything is right now with him just being hell-bent on wanting to get to Miami, but like, it would surprise me very much if Dame got traded to somewhere that's not the Heat, and then suddenly he was a big disruption. I would just really, really surprise me. Now, as far as other potential teams, well, there is the Chris Haynes report from a few days ago, which said the Clippers, T-Wolves, Celtics, and Pelicans are among teams to reach out. And if we can go down those 4, I mean, in the case of the Celtics, look, I don't think Jaylen Brown's on the table, okay? I think the Celtics plan on giving him the Supermax, and I think, I'm just guessing this, that their idea was, is it possible that we could get Dame for other stuff, you know, all the picks and like Robert Williams and whatever else, Brogdon's contract, that type of thing. It doesn't feel like it ever really gets to a point where the Blazers are saying yes to that, especially because Celtics picks down the line, it's like, okay, Jason Tatum's still going to be on the team, you know what I mean? The financial for that for the Celtics would also be like insane, so I just want to kind of remove them from this. I don't think they're going to get Dame. The Clippers one, I mean, it's the same thing I'm about to say with the Harden stuff, like I already said in the first video. Like, the Clippers actually do have picks that they can move now. The players coming back are certainly good between like potentially Norm Powell, Terrence Mann, whatever else, but it's not a slam dunk, throw a parade type of return for Dame. Then we go to the Pelicans who are in that thing, and I mean, from a financial standpoint, CJ would pretty much have to be moving in the deal unless Ingram or Zion was moving. And then at that point, like, I don't think the Blazers would want CJ because they've just got enough perimeter guys, Scoot, Sharp, Simons, the whole thing. So CJ'd probably have to be going to a third team, and then that third team can send more stuff to the Blazers, I guess, kind of similar to the Heat Hero thing. But of course, the big thing with the Pelicans, and I should have led off with this, is that they have a lot of first-round picks that they can move. I also think the Blazers would want Trey Murphy, to which the Pelicans would be like, we don't know about that one, I would guess. And the last one reported by Chris Haynes was the T-Wolves, and as we know, they've traded out a bunch of picks to get Gobert. Really, I mean, the Wolves just don't have a lot to trade. I know a Cat for Dame trade has been like a popular thing to bring up online, so I'll just acknowledge it here. I don't feel like the Wolves are going to end up with Damian Lillard. And then after that, I mean, the Raptors have been if anything, it's been a fun argument to look at, because there's definitely some people in favor of like trade Scotty Barnes for Dame and just go for a title over the next like 3 seasons or whatever. It should be said that that does not work financially. The Raptors would have to put much more money in the deal. I feel like Masai is not going to trade Scotty Barnes for Dame. Well, I've seen a little bit with the San Antonio stuff. I don't think the Spurs need to be entertaining moving like a bunch of picks and young guys. Like, I get it, Wemby's going to be great, but that just seems like I'm doing a lot, man. If Dame was like 27, I could see it, but 33, it's a little different. And then we get into just teams with just a lot of extra draft picks. You know what I mean? Like, you look at Utah, for example, and they've certainly got enough picks to where you'd be interested if you're the Blazers, I imagine, after the Gobert and Mitchell trades. But my guess would be that Danny Ainge just wants to sit on the picks and just enjoy the team he's got right now. That's fun, young. Markkanen's an all-star. Kessler, great rim protector. You just drafted Taylor Hendricks, who seems like an ideal 4 for today's game. You know, weak side defense, three-point shooting, the whole thing. I don't think there's any desperation to make a move like this for them. And then we get to the Nets, who have those extra like Suns picks and stuff. And I mean, there was like a report nearly 2 months ago that I just found where it said like, yeah, the Nets would be interested in Dame. But if you want to look over the last like 2 weeks, all it's been is like they would consider moving Ben Simmons' contract if they could find a deal there, and maybe Tyler Hero they'd be interested in as well. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of the Nets want Dame energy. So I don't know what to do with that. It feels like he's either going to get traded in like 4 minutes or he's going to get traded in like 3 months. I know the Thunder also have a bunch of picks, but the Thunder don't need Dame. They're doing totally fine on their own. Anyway, now we go to Harden, and it seems like there is perhaps a possibility, or at least an attempt right now, to convince him to stick around. But the fear with that is if Harden says, I'm only sticking around if you give me all the money, pretty much. I mean, he's obviously he's under contract for this upcoming season. But, you know, then it becomes the question of, okay, so if Morey chooses to drag this out, because he might just say to himself, I've got the Clippers offer in front of me, but whatever, it's going to be there 2.5 months from now anyway, so why do it now? Somebody else could come in out of nowhere, whatever. But the fear with that is that it's a distraction, right? Whether it's training camp, early season, whatever it might be. I mean, we remember when Harden got himself out of Houston and everything that happened with that, where he just like didn't show up for the early part of like training camp and all that. Although he did eventually play like a few games with those Rockets before he was traded to the Nets for whatever that might mean. Of course, the big thing with this is Embiid, and if he would pressure them to make a move and all that stuff. As far as the potential Clippers offer, I mean, the best thing the Clippers can put on the table is some of the picks that they actually can move at like the later chunk of this decade, and like Terrence Mann and Norm Powell, and I mean, good players, but, you know, not as good as Harden, obviously. So I don't know, I guess I'm kind of asking, like, how much BS is there in what Harden's saying, similar to like Dame and his agents right now? I remember within the whole like Harden wants to be traded news when it was breaking, there was a little Knicks thing in there that doesn't really seem like it's doing anything now, although as I say that, there was a little thing about how the Knicks and the Clippers were discussing a Paul George trade that didn't go anywhere. It seems like right now it's Clippers or it's nobody in the James Harden trade rumor stuff. I mean, you never totally know with this stuff, I get it, but it seems a little weird, unless I've just completely missed something, in which case, my bad, I'll just be dumb on this one. Let's go to this Siakam thing that has not been like super duper loud. Like, I don't think Woj and Shams have been tweeting about it like that, but if you want to Google it, there's been some Siakam trade stuff, with a lot of it being centered around Atlanta, and if there was a move there, and I think them just giving DeJounte the big contract probably lowers the odds of that sort of thing. Look, with Siakam, he's on the last year of his contract. They now have Rajakovic as their new coach, and Scotty Barnes has already had a quote being very positive about Darko's idea on offense and high pick and roll and all that, which, okay, Fred's not there anymore. They have Schroeder now. Scotty's definitely going to get more reps on the ball moving forward. And, you know, I would like to see if Darko can get, like, more connectivity between, like, Siakam and Scotty on offense. Now, I think to really do that, you're going to need more shooting. And you drafted Grady, so okay. But, you know, Schroeder's not as good of a shooter as, like, Fred was and all that. So we'll see there. But I don't know. Like, I guess it really just comes down to, like, would a potential return on Siakam just be way better now than if you explored that sort of thing at the deadline if things were not going well again? But I would like to see them try it out first. Because, I mean, the talent between Scotty and Siakam, like, it's certainly there, man. Like, I mean, Siakam's growth as a creator and, you know, his pull-up shooting, his spin moves in the paint, and random little turnaround jumpers and pull-ups and all that. Like, I mean, the dude, his handle and all that has just grown so much. And so, I don't know, we'll see. But to state the obvious, you really do not want to lose Siakam for nothing like you did with Fred.